America's only Irish station, Radio Irish. That's what you're listening to. Yes, indeedy. An online radio station that you can watch. Honest to criminy, what will they think of next? Sean McCarthy here, and we enjoyed ourselves immensely this past Bloomsday as we took our leave of the studio momentarily and headed to the Upper West Side here in Manhattan and to the splendid Peter J. Sharp Theatre at Symphony Space, 2537 Broadway, to attend the James Joyce ULYSSES Marathon, featuring leading stars of stage and screen, noted writers and avid Joyceans, performing selections from James Joyce's masterpiece Ulysses, with Fionnula Flanagan performing the entire Molly Bloom soliloquy. And we picked up our tickets at the box office and had a little time to spend before the performance was to begin, so we dawdled about a bit in the local environs, taking in those leafy Upper West Side streets and thoroughfares, which always reminds me of Ballsbridge in Dublin 4, just on a much more complex scale, if you will. And the old Metro diner there on the corner, we were going to nip in and have a pre-show bite to eat, but the place was absolutely jam-packed. And so, since I don't like queuing, we decided instead to just knock about a tad more until I came across this nifty little number. Buy a £1/4 pound of Nova salmon and get 3 bagels free. You can't go wrong there. But you can't beat that for value, says I, as we tailed it inside for our lox and cream cheese on lovely, fresh, beautiful bagels, which we took a few blocks away to Central Park and dutifully scoffed the lot in the shade of an old tree. And soon enough it was time to head back to Symphony Space, and lo and behold, who's there monitoring the traffic lights at a pedestrian crossing but the great Brooklyn-born Limerick-raised actor, writer and politician Malachy Mccourt, younger brother of Frank Mccourt, God rest his soul. And what a pre-show treat it was to meet Malachy, who was due to perform at Symphony Space that very hour, and was kind and warm-hearted as ever he is, to stop a while and shake our hands and even pose for a photograph with me, which I shall gladly cherish now, so I will. The great Malachy Mccourt, he's such a gentleman and a legend, and you see him there in fine fettle altogether, pottering about before the show, and it was a moment in time every bit worth the capturing. So I did. Malachy Mccourt went on that evening to deliver his Buck Mulligan on stage at Symphony Space like no other performance before it. Brilliant altogether, and I particularly enjoyed the way Malachy Mccourt can throw his voice to the very back wall of a rather large theatre and be heard quite distinctly. Every syllable, every word. And an engaging and enthralling performance it was too, from Malachy Mccourt. But sure, what could we expect? Then it was a lovely treat altogether to enjoy the highlight of the entire Bloomsday celebration at Symphony Space, Fionnula Flanagan, who took to the stage to deliver the Molly Bloom soliloquy from Ulysses, a thoroughly unique and magnificent performance from Fionnula. We even enjoyed the honour of meeting Fionnula prior to her performance as she made her way to the stage. However, she was in a big rush and could only stop for a brief moment, during which time the darn camera decided to start acting up, and all that came out was this rather artistic impression of the beautiful and mesmerising Fionnula Flanagan and I in a kind of dream state, if you will. So Fionnula, if you see this and you hear me, I'll have to ask you for another opportunity for a photograph the next time we meet. God bless her, here I was, forgetting all about the fact that Fionnula was due out on stage momentarily, and me stopping her for a photograph on the steps up towards the stage. It was hilarious, so it was. Kind of awkward too, so I do apologise, Fionnula. I had no idea you were going to be the first to walk on stage, as you did. And sure, what odds anyway, she was very gracious to stop and have a little chat with us. And thank you, Fionnula. And after a remarkable performance from all those who did perform at the Symphony Space Bloomsday celebration, it was back off home again to make my favourite rissoles, which were done up nice and crispy the way I love them, and I enjoyed those to no degree with a cucumber and tomato salad on the side. A drizzle of oil and vinegar does a lovely trick indeed. And there you have it, another lovely evening in New York City here on Radio Irish. Endlessly entertaining, so it was. Endlessly such. America's only Irish station, radioirish.com. Poor old Fionnula Flanagan, huh? Coming up the steps, me with the camera out, huh? God bless her.
Radio Irish. 'Cause there's a little bit of Ireland in all of us.